What's all this, lot?
Well, I was coming to tell you. I tried to get Betty on phone. God knows where she is.
Oh, she's been with that neighbour of hers.
What neighbour?
Old woman lives next door to her. She's gone down poorly, so Betty takes her a bit of breakfast in. Why, what's up?
I'm off on a cruise. Here's keys.
A what?
A cruise, Hilda. On a boat, on sea. Frank's got this job on a boat, cruising round Norway for the next 10 days, so I'm taking a little holiday. Now, I'll be in touch. Hilda!
What?
Tell Betty to make sure brewery's informed.
Right.
Is that all she said? She'll be in touch.
Yeah, I've told you. Frank got himself this job on a boat going round Norway, and she's going with him. For 10 days, she said. She was catching the train to Hull, so she gave me the keys and said she'd be in touch, and I was to tell you that she'd informed the brewery.
It's a pity she didn't inform me.
Well, she tried to. She said she'd phoned you, but she couldn't get no reply. I said you was probably in with that poorly neighbour.
Yeah, 8:30, yeah. I probably was. She's a cheeky devil.
Well, brewery must have given her permission.
I know, lovey, but, I mean, what about me? Am I supposed to run this place by myself?
Oh, they'll send somebody down.
The better flaming had. It's not only her that's gone, but the potman's gone with her. Not that either of them did much when they were here.
Still, you miss them, don't you, when they're gone? She's in love this time, good and proper.
I don't care how much in love she is, as long as we don't have to suffer from it. Look, there's half an hour before opening, and who's behind the bar? Muggins here. Oh, hello. Yes. Really? No, she definitely said that you'd been informed. No, there's only me here at the moment. I've got no cellarman, no nothing. Oh, you're going to send somebody to help in the bar? As soon as the meeting's over? Oh, thank you very much. You know not about it.
Well, I've told you exactly what she said. Who was that you spoke to?
Oh, some bloke or other. He said he couldn't get to anybody important as there's a meeting on. But he said I could take somebody on to help in the cellar, you know, sort of temporary.
Well, you best get a move on. There's hardly any bottles up.
Oh.
Hello. Hello.
Just had to wait your turn, love.
Don't you recognise me? Gloria, the brewery sent me.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just stand my coat up and I'll be with you.
Oh, God. Oh, dear. Oh, I could murder a cup of tea, kid.
Oh, me and all. Shall I make you one? We're nearly done. I'll finish off after.
Oh, go on, then. You've changed a bit since you were here last time.
For the better, you mean? Should be. I've had a fair bit of experience. Mostly new in Ridley. They've been very good to me. Only temp work, though, you know, holidays and that. It was okay, but I'd rather have something more permanent.
What's brought this on?
A few months on the dole.
Ah.
Can't be doing with that. Gives me the creeps. Nothing going here, is there?
Well, I mean, you know who the manageress is, don't you?
Yeah, but Lynch.
Well, you weren't the best of pals, love.
Who cares? I've worked for some rum ones in my time. I did a few weeks at a whacking great pub in Manchester. Well, it was more of a nightclub, really, you know, singers and that. Boss had all the girls walking round in bunny girl outfits. That was an experience, I can tell you. Squeezing through the tables in one of them, and all the fellas with 8 hands apiece.
Oh.
I had to keep going back for new tales. I got through half a dozen and he sacked me. Said I was provoking the customers. In a bunny girl costume, what else can you do? What's the chances of something permanent?
Oh, I don't know, lovey. I don't even know what my chances are.
Can I help you, sir?
Mrs. Turpin, please. Ah, here she is.
Oh, hello. Would you like to come through?
Thanks. This'll do fine for the moment. I'd like half an hour in the public bar just to see how things are going, and then perhaps we could have a private talk. I see. Well, at least the temporary staff seem satisfactory, and Well, the general atmosphere is very good.
Oh, thank you very much.
I wonder if it would be possible to have a word with Mrs. Ogden, is it? If you could arrange it.
Oh, yes, she's here. She's in the bar. Shall I get her for you?
If you wouldn't mind.
Yes. Excuse me.
Ah, Mrs. Ogden, do sit down. Now, I wonder if you could tell me exactly what Miss Lynch said to you this morning.
Oh, yes, sir. Well, she was fetching me the keys, and she said she'd been trying to get in touch with Betty, Mrs. Turpin, only she hadn't been able to. So would I tell her that she was going on a cruise with Frank? That's Frank Mills, the potman. He'd got a job on this cruise ship, and she was going with him, she said, for 10 days to Norway. She said she'd be in touch, and, oh, yes, I was to tell Mrs. Turpin that the brewery had been informed.
I see. Thank you. This Frank Mills, I don't recall his name. Who appointed him?
Well, Miss Lynch. I mean, she knew him slightly. He was a barman at a hotel she stayed at in Blackpool.
And how long had he been here?
Oh, only a few weeks.
Oh. I take it you have access to the books.
Oh, yes. I did them when she went on that course.
Would you have them ready for inspection first thing tomorrow morning? I'll be sending down one of my auditing staff. He'll be stock-taking, too. In the meantime, carry on as you're doing, and give us a ring if you have any trouble.
Yes.
Don't bother.
Okay.
Stock-taking, eh? And looking at the books.
By God, she's asked for it.
And by the sound of things, she's going to get it.
I don't want to disturb you.
Oh, I've just about finished.
Oh. Only I thought you might like a little bit of lunch. We've got sandwiches or soup.
Thank you. No, I never take lunch.
Oh.
Oh, anyway, the stock appears to be just about spot on, so I leave an itemised copy accurate as from this morning's opening.
Oh, thank you.
But I'm going to have to take the books with me. I'll enlist the help of some of my colleagues if I'm to get through them today. But by this evening, we should have the full picture.
Returning these accounts to you, they've been very thoroughly scrutinised and they're fine, accurate and up to date. We've certainly no complaints with Miss Lynch as far as they're concerned.
I'm very glad. Not that I expected otherwise.
No.
No, but it's nice to be told.
It is. So, how are your staff coming along? I'm afraid it's been rather a hasty recruitment.
Oh, well, we're getting by, you know. No major problems as yet.
The young lady who was serving in the bar?
Oh, she's very good. The customers like her.
Which is what matters in the long run. And I believe you've got someone helping with the cellar work on a part-time basis.
Oh, yes, well, yes, he's sort of local, you know, but he's very reliable.
Good. So, that brings us to your own position, which I don't think we can allow to continue as it is.
Oh.
In fairness to you.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm content enough. I'm just very glad that you found everything in such good order.
Well, not quite everything, no. I'm still extremely concerned that Miss Lynch is sailing the seven seas instead of being here. So, what I'd very much like is for you to assume temporary managership and be paid accordingly.
Oh, yes, well, I suppose...
You're doing the job already. It's only right that we should recognise the fact.
Well, thank you very much.
Excellent. Let's say backdated to the beginning of the week.
Oh, does that mean until Miss Lynch gets back, like?
Oh, no. At least until Miss Lynch gets back. What happens after that, we've yet to decide.
The place is still standing then, isn't it?
Are you kid? Nice time.
Oh, fabulous. Betty, will you pay cabby for me, love? Take a couple of quid out of till. I've not got a bean on
No,
me.
I don't really like doing that. No, I'll get it out of me first.
No, take it out at till.
No, I'll get it out of me first. Here, Jack, lovey. You pay the cabby after.
All right. All right, was it?
Right, sir. Wait, what's he doing?
Hello, Beth.
What's she doing? I think me and you had better have a little talk, Betty, if you don't mind. Told you. I turned my back for 2 minutes.
Hang on. 2 weeks is nearer the mark.
Never mind that. What's she doing behind that bar?
You know Gloria.
I do. I didn't think much of her last time she was here. Anyway, whose bright idea were it to take her on?
Well, the brewery said
Never
so.
mind who said she's not stopping. What's Jack Duckworth doing?
Pots and cellar.
Jack Duckworth?
Oh.
You've taken leave of your senses.
Like you took leave of your job. You know, when you went, it left us short and he was handy.
Too flaming handy. And another thing. When I ask you for money out of that till, don't you dare go telling me you don't see fit. Not in front of them customers and all. I'm responsible for that till, remember? Me, not you.
I'm very sorry, lovey. But according to the brewery, I am.
Till I'm back.
No.
And I'm back.
No, till they tell me different.
They? Who are they?
The brewery, George Newton. Ask him if you want to check.
What are you doing talking to George Newton? I'm the manager of this pub.
Well, you were, love, until you swanned off. I mean, whether you are or not now, you'll just have to take that up with Mr. Newton. Until he tells me differently, I am in charge here. I never wanted to, but there you are.
Betty, what's been going on?
What's been going on? The brewery were down here like an avalanche the minute they knew you'd gone off.
Gone off?
Look, they do like to be informed. They do like provisions to be made. They went through everything, all the books, everything.
They've what?
Oh, yes. The stock, the books, everything. As far as they're concerned, lovey, you have done a flick.
Done a flit? I've had an holiday.
Well, you better tell them then, aren't you?
Why didn't Hilda tell them?
Why should Hilda tell them?
Because I told Hilda to make sure the brewery was informed.
She didn't seem to know that.
Well, I told her.
You did tell her plain enough.
Did the two of you dream this up, did you?
Now, wait a minute.
Oh, yes, I can just see it. Now's our chance to get her in lumber with the brewery. You've never liked it, have you, me being the boss round here?
Well, if that's the way you're going to be, I can't be bothered talking to you till you see a bit of reason.
Yes, you and Hilda between you. I bet you were straight on to 'em. She's gone off.
I had to get on to them.
All right.
I had to know what my position was. After that, it was out of my hands.
Well, thanks for the favour.
Oh, lovey, I didn't know you'd not told them now, did I? Fancy just going off like that. You could have told them, and you didn't. You've been in this trade long enough to know that, love. No, it's on your head now. Whatever happens, you brought it on yourself, and don't go trying blaming me and Hilda. And right now, I've got a pub to run. I was just wondering, you know, with you not being in the bar all day.
Oh? What is there to be wondering about?
Oh, I was wondering how long this is going to go on for, because, well, it's very awkward.
Well, if you think I'm coming out there to wash pots.
I never said that.
I'm very sorry, Betty. But you tell me I'm not the manager. Well, I'm certainly not waiting on in the snug to help Gloria out. What the hell do you think I am?
Have you been on to the brewery? Have you said anything? Come on, have you?
I shall get on to the brewery in my own good time.
There's no point in putting it
I've
off.
told you when I'm good and ready.
Oh, look, it's very awkward.
You should have thought of that before you jumped into my shoes.
I did no such thing. Oh, I don't know what you were thinking of. Don't try blaming me. I was lumbered. Have you had any dinner yet?
I don't want any dinner.
I'll make you a bit of something if you like.
I'm not hungry. Was it worth it, love? How do I know?
I can't see why he turned up in the first place, and then...
It was just a place on his way, that's all. On his way where? Didn't seem to matter to him. I thought if I just drop everything and go, something had happened. Something. Well, it would in a story, wouldn't it? I'm daft.
Well, what were the fjords like, anyway?
Ah, they're all right. Not much going on.
Oh.
And it was obvious. He was quite happy if I was with him, and he was just as happy if I wasn't. So I just enjoyed myself. And now I'm back to all this.
And do you think you're in real hot water?
Up to my neck. The old Lynch came out and blew it again, I suppose. Ah, well.
Well, I mean, it's not as if you ran off with all the takings.
First thought that seemed to enter their heads, as far as I can make out. You'd think people would cover up for you a bit, wouldn't you? But no. Drop right in it.
I'm sure it wasn't meant that way.
Well, I wish I could be that sure. Betty's the manager now. I'm just a squatter. I can't even go in that bar.
Oh,
How can I? What for? Just to be humiliated?
well, you just have to go and see them.
Tomorrow, 2 o'clock. I rang the secretary. Oh, hello, Miss Lynch. Mr. Newton's been very anxious to hear from you. 2 o'clock. I reckon I'm for the high jump.
Suppose you'd better put on your sackcloth and ashes.
I'm going to put on my bloody war paint.
Oh, I don't think that's quite the attitude.
I'm the injured party, not them. I've been practically accused of running off with the takings. I've been suspended from my job. I don't even know if I've got any wages coming. I've been humiliated in that bar. She wouldn't even give me £2 out the till to pay for my cab. So if they think I'm going there to grovel...
Well, frankly, I would if I were you.
Mavis, I've humiliated myself enough. Stuff it. If I'm going down with all flags flying and all guns blazing. And the mood I'm in, I'm practically looking forward to it. Carlo.
What time's your interview then with Mr. Newton?
2 o'clock.
Ah, good. Well, he'll have had a bit of dinner, so he should be in a good mood.
He might be in a good mood, Betty. I certainly won't be. They'll be left in no possible doubt about that and all.
Look, you don't want to go getting his back up, lovey. After all, here's the...
I am not being treated like rubbish, Betty, by anybody at Newton and Ridley.
Look, I'm only telling you, lovey. I mean, George Newton's not too pleased with you.
He's made sure everybody knows it and all, including all my customers. That'll be point number 1, Betty. I mean, fancy sending a bloke down here to look through my books with a fine-tooth comb. What do you think that makes me look like, eh?
Look, he didn't get the idea from me that anything was wrong, you know.
Oh, I know that, love. Look, I am sorry I blamed you. But George Newton hasn't got a leg to stand on. That'll be point number 2. When he went through my books, everything was spot on, weren't it?
Oh, he did say, yeah. He said everything was as it should be.
Exactly. Just shows you, Betty. He went too far. I shall tell him that and all.
Oh, morning.
Good morning, lovey. Come on, there's some tea in the pot.
Good.
There you are.
Do you want me to go for the bread for the sandwiches?
Eh?
I'm just wondering about the bread for the sandwiches.
Don't mind me, Gloria. Ask the acting manager, Essie.
Oh, you're off then, eh?
I am.
Well, good luck, love.
It's not me that needs luck, Betty. It's George Newton.
Look, you don't want to get on the wrong side of him. Look, I'm warning you for your own good. Be careful. Be very, very careful.
Enter. Ah, Miss Lynch. Right, have a seat. Now, I'm not going to mess about because I've got a lot on my plate and not much time to waste. You'll know why I've sent for you.
Excuse me, Mr. Newton. It was me who wanted to see you. I was on the phone to your secretary as soon as I got back.
As soon as you got back, you said it. That brings us right to the point.
Hang on a minute, Mr. Newton. I'd like to get this straight. I asked to see you. And I would have been here before this and all. Only your secretary said that this was the soonest you could see me.
I do have a brewery to run, which you seem to have forgotten, and a lot of other houses to look after. There's nothing special about the Rovers Return, you know.
Oh, I know that. I just want you to know how I feel. I mean, when I got back and Mrs. Turpin told me that you'd sent a man down to look through my books in case I'd had my fingers in the till.
I'm sure Betty Turpin never said any such thing.
Not in them words, no. That's what it meant. Yes, and all my customers seemed to know what was going on and all. Well, I was blazing. And I think I was entitled to be. How would you like it, Mr. Newton?
Well, for a kick-off, I wouldn't have done a damn silly trick like you did. So I wouldn't have been in that position. Now, listen to me, Bet. I don't give a damn about your hurt feelings. When one of our managers goes missing all of a sudden, The first thing we do is to find out if anything else...
I didn't go, Miss St.
Just let me finish. Because usually it does mean that somebody's had their fingers in the till. And we have to find out. Well, we know that you didn't have.
Thank you very much.
And furthermore, we have to make a careful stock check. Because somebody has to take responsibility for that pub. In this case, Mrs. Turpin. And she has to know what she's signing for. Now, you know all this, Bet. And if you ask me, you're just trying to get me sidetracked. Well, it won't work. The point is, and the reason you're in this office, is because you had no business just taking off the way you did.
I told Hilda Ogden exactly where I was going.
Who?
My cleaning lady.
Oh, really? You left word with your cleaner?
I did try to ring Betty. Anyway, I knew I was leaving the Rovers in good hands. And you must have thought so and all. Else you wouldn't have made her acting manageress. No, the way I see it, Mr. Newton, it's just a breakdown in communications.
It won't wash, you know, Bet. It just isn't good enough. I don't know. You don't leave me much choice. I'm going to have to do something about you.
Fair dues, though, Mr. Newton. You can't point out any other mistakes I've made since you put me in charge of the Rovers.
Can I take it that means you're admitting you're in the wrong?
I admit I made a mistake. Yes.
Try to put yourself in our shoes. Look at it from our point of view. Thank you, Mary. You get shot of your previous potman and move this fellow from Blackpool, was it, into the pub. And the next thing we know, he's taken off and you've taken off with him. It's one thing for a barmaid to do a thing like that, Bet, but when you're in charge, it's just not on.
Yes.
And would a barmaid who did a thing like that expect to find she still had her job waiting for her when she came back?
I shouldn't have done it. I didn't think. But like I say, it's the only mistake I've made.
To be frank with you, I think the mistake was ours, putting you in charge of the Rovers. I said to Sarah Ridley at the time, I didn't think you were ready. She was the one who wanted you.
I did hope that she would have been in on this interview. Because I think she would have taken a different view than what you have.
Well, that's where you're wrong. She thinks the same as me. She thinks you can't handle the responsibility, can't cope with it. What's your opinion, Bet? Honestly.
Oh, I can cope. I think I've done a good job. I mean, you said yourself. The money was all in order, and the stock was right. We're doing as well as any other pub round that way, and times aren't easy.
They never will be in the license trade, not anymore. That's why what you did was out of order. There's lots of people who would give their right hands to be running the Rovers Return, you know. Do you want to keep the job?
Yes, of course I do. You know I do.
I think we'll leave the final decision for 3 months. Unless you force us to take a decision before then, Bet. Do you understand me? You can't afford any more, to use your own words, mistakes.
So, you're putting me on probation?
Yes? If that's what you want to call it, I suppose we are.
And so long, that's what worries me. She should have been back ages ago.
Perhaps she's gone off on holiday again.
Not nice, Gloria.
We'll probably get a postcard sometime next week.
So where is she? I mean, we should be opening up in about 5 minutes.
Time for another pot of tea. I'll put the kettle on.
No, not for me, love. I can manage with this. Oh, hello, lovey. I was just saying we should be thinking about opening up.
Yeah, I'll do it, shall I?
Hang on a minute, Gloria. Sit down. I'm sorry I've been so long, ladies. I went shopping. I bought myself a new frock.
Oh, I see.
Celebrating something.
You could call it that, love.
So, everything went off all right at the brewery, then?
Went off all right. Well, of course it did, Betty. We're old pals, me and George Newton. We had a good laugh.
Oh, I'm glad. And I'm glad you're back in charge, love.
No, not quite, Betty. Not till tomorrow morning. They're sending a Milado round to do a stock handover from you to me.
Oh.
Oh, yes, you see, they have to do it. It's just a formality. That's why they sent him after I went on my holidays.
It's 5:30, Bet.
Yes, well, let them wait. If they're that mad for a drink, it'll do them no harm to wait on the doorstep for 5 minutes with their tongues hanging out. Anyway, I want a word with you both. To say thank you, Betty, for running this pub so well while I was away. George thought so and all. He said to tell you.
Well, that's what I'm here for.
And I want a word with you, Gloria, and all.
Are you sacking me?
Sacking you? What should I want to do that for, love? No. I'm pleased that you've settled in so well while Betty's been in charge. I just want to say, welcome aboard, and I hope that you'll work as well for me.
Oh, right.
Now you can open up, love.
Yeah. Looks to be getting a bit short on lagers. Do you want a couple of crates fetching up?
Oh, hang on. Betty, Jack says, do you want any lagers bringing up?
What are you asking me for?
Well, you're in charge till we hand over tomorrow.
Don't be so daft, it's your pub, no matter when we hand over the stock.
Betty says yes. Bring some lagers up, please, Jack.
Right, just mind me. Junior 1, 2, 3, 4 up to senior. How else you want doing, Bet?
Well, I could do with you tomorrow morning. I've got the dray men delivering.
Well, I'll be here bright and early if you want me.
Oh, we want you. You're the muscle.
Hey, not just the muscle, the brain's here as well.
No, love, you mustn't try thinking and shifting barrels at the same time. You could easily strain something, sunshine.
Morning.
We're not open yet.
I'm not here as a boozer, I'm here to see you, Miss Seller.
Oh, you're still doing that, are you?
Yes, and I was doing it all last week while you were away, wherever you were. I'm doing it damn well, I know.
Yeah, well, I was at Mrs. Lowther's, minding the house while they was away in London. And it's funny, you know, when I'm there, I never give this place a minute's thought. Because Mrs. Lowther's house, well, it's another world.
Oh, this is the real world, Hilda. Where's Bet and Betty?
Oh, doing the handover. There was a fellow from the brewery here first thing, taking stock and that. Betty has to sign it over,
I know,
you see.
Hilda. It's normal practice in the trade. So, we've got Bet back in charge, have we?
Yeah, and between you and me, I'm surprised she is. Because Mr. Newton, that's him what runs the brewery.
I know who Mr. Newton is.
Yes, well, he was flaming mad when he found out she'd gone away without so much as a buy-you leave. Well, he said to me, Mrs. Ogden, he said, in confidence, just between us, I'd like your opinion.
Mind it. Morning, ladies.
Morning. Have you not finished yet, Hilda?
Well, why, heck, it's easy to see you're back in charge.
I am, Hilda, so let's get cracking.
A proper job can't be rushed, you know. Mrs. Walker never found fault. And Mr. Newton, well, he said he wished all Newton and Ridley's pubs had a cleaner as good as me.
Give over. George Newton didn't even know who you were. When your name cropped up, I had to jog his memory.
What were you talking about me for?
It was when we were saying that if you'd have given Betty the proper message that I gave you when I went away on holiday, we could have avoided a lot of misunderstanding. Now, let's get on.
Well, that's very nice, isn't it? I get the blame for everything round here.
Jack, you best get the empties stacked in the backyard. I've got draymen coming sometime this morning.
Right, you are my flower. You leave it to me.
I don't know, Betty. I bet you didn't enjoy being in charge, didn't you?
Didn't give me any ambitions, if that's what you mean.
No, it's no wonder. What with Hilda to cope with and now Jack Duckworth.
Well, it worked very well for me, and to tell you the truth, I was glad of anybody.
That's it, isn't it? He's better than nothing. Not a lot better, though.
I tell you, we did not spend the night in Southport. We came back on the train via Liverpool.
Well, you must be very fond of a company, Percy.
I had no choice, did I? I couldn't chuck her off the blasted train, could I? It's a public conveyance.
Ah, now that is the mark of a gentleman, you know. A gentleman always gives his seat up to a lady on a public conveyance.
Oh, conveyance, is it? I always thought it was convenient. No.
Well, Phyllis told me you were all over her in Southport.
All over her? What do you mean by that, all over her?
She said you gave her a smashing day, and she told me that she saw a side to your nature she'd only guessed at previously.
She's lying. The woman's got no regard for the truth.
Listen, Percy, there's no need to cover up in front of us, you know. There's nothing to be ashamed about. I mean, being in love.
That does it. I don't come here to be made a mock of, you know.
Oh, where do you usually go?
Percy, come on.
You mustn't keep pulling his leg, you know.
Me? What about you? Sell us all ship-shape, Bet.
Right, treat yourself to a pint.
Stale for 50 mile around, but we haven't got our licence to think about.
Hey, listen to him. He used to be the worst after-farm pest we had.
They say poachers make good gamekeepers, don't they?
Well, lads, if you can't be good, get one for me. There we go.
Do you know, I thought I was going to have trouble with him.
How do you mean?
Wandering hands. Appreciated himself.
Oh, dear. Well, he's kept the beer in good nick, hasn't he? George Newton said he'd make a very good cellar man.
It's not George Newton that runs this pub.
No, I was just saying.
I run this place. Not George Newton.
What's up with him?
Just have to have confidence. Aristotle Onassis, he had plenty of it. Look where he ended up.
He's dead, isn't he?
Oh, he's dead, certainly, yes. But then the snack's everything, isn't there?
All shipshape again. How else you want doing?
Well, that's Bet. No time, Jack. We'll be all right.
Well, give us a shout if you want out.
I would have thought he was her type. I'd have thought she'd have fancied something a bit more flash.
Yeah, well, she goes for what's available, doesn't she? And he has got a bob or two in his pocket. I had this friend once during the war. About the time I met my Stan, my late husband, you know. She was just the same. Wouldn't look at a chap unless he had power and a bit of money. Had to be a lance corporal at least.
Oh, I've been working practically non-stop, you know. Mind you, I'd rather be busy than stood twiddling my thumbs.
Oh, I'm the same. I said to our girl, the busier this cafe is, the better I like it.
Oh, you're helping at the cafe?
Oh, I couldn't see us struggling out.
Well, you know, I've a lot of time for anybody who'll muck in and help when things get tough. Do you want another of these?
Won't say no. Mind you, I never have been able to say no. Look at the trouble that's got me into.
What do you want?
I want a gin and slimline, a pint of bitter red.
Hang on, Jack. Gloria will be with you in a minute, Al.
Oh, all right, sorry.
I can serve you.
I wanted a word anyway.
Look, I'll all the serving and about, but you get a bit of a rush on, you know.
Jack, how can I put this? The thing is, don't get too comfortable.
How do you mean?
Look, these last couple of weeks you've been a real good help and all that. But I don't want you to start thinking that there's anything more to it.
I'm not with you.
Look, you're a good customer who's given us a good helping hand. But you're not the long-term answer to my problems in the cellar. I'm going to have to start making different arrangements pretty soon.
What's wrong with me?
Nothing. I want you to come in this pub for many years. As a customer.